And welcome to another Ma Harriet Sit. It's our last Sunday, the 17th of November, our last one for this month. We'll come back the second week of December. Um, my name's Eli Rin. I am so happy to be here with y'all today. Feeling very full still from our full moon on Friday night and happy to roll into some just nice, uh, consistent practice with y'all. Whether it's your first time in this space or you've been here many times or you're watching it later on the recording, I welcome you deeply into the space and hope that you take this hour to really just, you know, tune in. What's coming up for you? What's going on for you? How are you feeling? Mahari practice in essence, no matter what exactly we're doing, which we keep it fluid and kind of change that up as we go, as the years go. But the essence of it is building that sort of self trust that someone like Harriet Tubman must have had to really work on, right? Imagining being, it's not too hard to imagine with this world as well, being born into a plantation, having that kind of enforced worldview around you of your, worth or freedom or ability. And for her to be able to, know she's free, to trust her freedom enough to, leave and come back and free others. That's the kind of just basic essence we're working with today. How do I learn how to trust myself? How can I learn from my Harriet to trust my community? And in that way that, my context is Buddhist, so I'll say it's a Buddhist way, but it's an everything way. That one word means like 8,000 more things. Trust, not just as in it's on me to trust, but as in what is necessary to build trust. How do I work on that? How do I look at that truth? And so with myself, sometimes that like I've been thinking about moving in alignment with my ideals, with my dreams, with what I wish the world could be. Trying to move in alignment with like my ideals as much as possible has slowly over the years built up a sort of self trust that I did not have when I was young. I can look back on my days and see less and less self betrayal, right? And I don't blame myself for the self betrayal of survival mechanisms. That's being in the world, right? We're not looking for perfection here. We're not looking really for anything specific. What we're feeling into is how do I become aware when I'm moving in alignment with myself, with my community? How do I tap into that when it's happening, or tap into the grief of it when it's not, and identify, okay, what's the need there, rather than spin out in the stories of the shame and the, you know, lack, which, speaking from, I'm not as a projection, just as a self admission. And if that resonates, that resonates, don't feel forced into aligning with what I'm saying. But through this practice, I hope to build the awareness, the empathy, and the like ability to slow down and listen that it takes to really know how I'm moving and know how I'm feeling and how to harmonize with it, how to let that be the leader of my experience so that I don't end up trying to like prescribe my own days, right? Letting my like intelligent thinking mind really like carve out a strictness, a rigidity to how I think I should be. I always start real vague on these, so thank y'all for always starting out and zooming in with me. But for some reason, that's how I always arrive to this specific class. But yeah, I'm just really sitting with today that idea of what would I need to trust myself? Do I trust myself? Let that be expansive and fluid. What areas of my life do I have a lot of trust? You know, I have taken care of babies as soon as I wasn't a baby, I was taking care of babies. So, like, that's something I've never not trusted myself on how to keep a little baby alive. That's an area of trust that feels neutral to me. That when I'm, dealing with, okay, do I trust myself to really discern, when a relationship should end? A much more tricky type of trust for me. I can like zoom out sometimes and say, okay, like what is the me that trusts themselves in this situation? How do I learn from them? And so there's like ways to access parts of ourselves that feel inaccessible or that we've been told, like, since we can't do something this way, we can't do it at all. I think that's the like nihilism of the world can really feel hard to shake, of the world systems, not the world itself, but the systems we've like scrambled the world, our worlds into, right? And so, yeah, I really feel like bringing in Ma Harriet in our ancestors, her as a vehicle. We could build a relationship as a trust, a element of practicing trust, right? The ancestors are, our benevolent ancestors, the ones that are ready to help, the ones that we call into spaces like this, are like it's like reparenting yourself, right? Like it's getting that chance at trusting an elder. It's getting that chance at trusting your vulnerability, at really asking for what you need from a place of not holding or cutting any part of you off. And that discovery of like, whoa, it always feels like whoa to me when I'm just like, I've been running around in circles when I just really needed to ask somebody to like sit with me and maybe hold me for a second. Or I felt really ashamed about this thing. And so I've been running around trying to overcompensate in other areas of my life, being like extra virtuous or something, extra hardworking, extra whatever. I think I lack in this area. And I burn myself out doing that. And then I feel double shame and double sad and double let down. And then through that, okay, let that go. And then what's the next step that's more caring is often accepting what I'm having a hard time with and just letting it be. Just like investigating a little deeper, why? Let's work on that. You know, the last bit of maybe preamble I'll give is that I've been thinking about like the term root worker and Black ancestry in the States, on Turtle Island specifically and beyond, but really, these women like Harriet Tubman who are herbalists out in the land working with like literal roots to help combine with our own body's medicine, and like the Buddha, like so many folks, concerned with not the branches of the problem only, but focusing on how the branches are a manifestation of the root. Like, let's get to the heart of this. Let's cut this off from the bottom up and see what we can do. Let's let this world die. See what the new one is born, how the new one is born. So that's how I'm showing up to practice today. I always just start by, contextualizing my position, really, locating myself in hopes that we can all locate ourselves. And, as this form and as like a amorphous little Zoom form that stretches across one continent a lot, and then sometimes a lot of other continents too. So it's fun to imagine our little